Why? Why so many windows? That was my question when I first opened this software called Ecamm, which is what I'm on right now, which is what I'm streaming out to the world right now. It's a software called Ecamm. And you know, when you open Windows, well, first of all, you have friends. Let's be honest. You have friends, and some of their desktops just look like this. They've just got everything. They've got programs, they've got icons, they've got, ooh, this is a shortcut. It's a shortcut. But it's not a shortcut if you have like 20,000 windows open or 20,000 files. You're afraid to lose your files, so you leave it on your desktop, which is not really the greatest thing in the world to do. It's really not. However, there are people like that, and I understand. Now, with all of the different pieces of software out there, and I've gone through a lot of them, and I'm sure you've gone through a lot of them. Ecamm, when you open it up, it doesn't have just a window that you open up and you work on the program. When you open it up, it has 6 or 7 windows open on your desktop, which is absolutely, I think, crazy when I first opened it until I got used to it. And it was absolutely, and it doesn't take any time at all, especially once I explain this, it doesn't take any time at all to explain exactly how this works. It's really, really cool. And it's extremely helpful because we think in different ways. I don't think the same way you do. You don't think the same way I do. Some people are super organized and OCD, and some people have their stuff just all over the place. So let's just take a quick look. We're gonna go into live demo mode. At least I think I am. And right here is all the windows that are open, that I've got open right now. And I'm watching my confidence monitor, and it is like 10 seconds behind me, so I'm just a little bit freaky. So when you open Ecamm, you have a bunch of different windows that are open because these are windows. Look, it's a window. I can move it all over the place. And you get your main window, which is me right here. What you see, what we see, but you also have a bunch of other windows. Now, it's important to understand what these windows are for. Some of them you're going to want open all the time, and some of them you don't. For instance, you're going to want your scenes window open. Let me see if I can do that again. You're going to want your scenes window open. Scenes, and we're in so many windows, and this is the scene that we're on right now. This one right here, which is cool. And then you've got overlays. Overlays are things that you put in each window. Every time you see them highlighted. If they're white, they're on the screen, and if they're not white, they're not on the screen. These aren't on the screen, but they're ready. They're ready to go on the screen. And if I were to go back to here, well, we don't want to go back to there because we want to stay in the confidence, or we want to stay over here. But there's all kinds of windows. Here's a sound effects window right down here. And these are some sound effects that Ecamm gives to you, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, I mean, you just get these things. So there's that. But you get a few things. But here's the thing with the sound effects, you can add more sound effects. You can add music. You can add audio clips. You can add all kinds of things. But you may not need any of those, so you don't need the window open. You may not need that open. Now you can see I'm a little OCD for the, I've got them all set just the way I want to. I have my scenes. I have right next to my scenes, I have overlays, and I have my main screen. If you have, see, I have the option of 4 cameras, 2 of which are hooked up. I can use my iPhone as a third camera, but I don't need to. But it's there if I need to, and I have 2 cameras that I could use. Now, if all you're doing is you have one screen because you're on one laptop and you have one camera, you don't need the camera switcher open. You're not switching to another camera. You don't have another camera. So you wouldn't be doing that. Now, if you're live like me and there's comments, if somebody pops in a comment, I can see it if I'm actually watching. There's times when somebody drops on and says hey to me, and then I miss it. But it could pop in there if somebody made a comment, which would be really cool. And if you have 20,000 people watching you, or if you have 7 people watching you, or 20 or 30 or 40, comments would come in here and you could pop them up on the screen. And you're going to want to be able to do that if that's what you're doing, especially if you're going live. Now you're thinking, well, this is just for going live, and I don't go live. Well, I do every training, I do every program that I create, every training that I do it on Ecamm. I just don't go live. There's an option that is up. Well, I can't do it because I'm live, because there's an option to turn on live or turn on just record. And right now I've got both on because I'm not just going live, I'm recording it in the background as well. It's really, really cool. But there's other windows that you've got. This window over here is for the camera effects. And you're looking at the camera. So I have control of a lot of different things that I could do with my camera. Now, you wouldn't do this. Wow. You wouldn't do this live. You just get it set to where you look pretty good. But I could drop the brightness down or drop it back up. Why would I do that live? I would set it beforehand. These are all things to set beforehand. I can go and get really, really red, or not quite as red, which is a little awkward. And I can reset them all. And then there's camera effects where I can mirror myself, go the other way. I could go old school black and white. I could go you could do all these different things if you want to, and you wouldn't want to do them unless you're explaining to them online for something like this, or for a training or something like this. But Ecamm comes with all of these different windows, and you can get rid of whatever ones you don't need. But the really cool thing is I can move them around. I can put that over there and this over here, because people think different ways. I'm not just showing you around a little program that's kind of cool. This is a really, really in-depth program where they make it easy. And if anybody likes easy, I like easy. I really, really do like things to be as easy as possible. Do I get confused sometimes? I wouldn't want to say that out loud, but yeah, sometimes I do get. Look, even now, I've got to put it back in just the right place, and it's just not quite lining up because of how I'm running things. But you can see how there's so many windows. As a matter of fact, if I come up to, I don't know if it'll show. I think it might. We're going to find out if it does. All the windows. There's 14 different windows that I could have on here, and I have 8. But there's 14 that I could pop in there, which is kind of crazy. You don't need them all. So don't get overwhelmed. This is easy. Just get the ones that you want to use that are easy. For instance, I want to make sure that my microphone is working. So I have microphone levels. And that's important to have microphone levels. So you got that going on, and that's important as well. So I want to have that on. You don't need this window. You don't need this one. It tells you, my bandwidth and how much bandwidth I need to go live. I'm going live on 4 different places, and you probably don't need that. And so I don't really need it either, because all I do is sit there and look at it. Why would I do that? So Marla's come on, and she's made a comment. You can see the comment right down here. And I can add her to the broadcast and say, Marla, it's good to see you. Glad you joined me. You're very faithful, and I appreciate you just hanging around with me every Tuesday morning. And I can pop Marla up on the screen, and I wouldn't have seen that if I didn't know that it was there. That's why that window is open, and that's why it's really cool when you go live and you have these things. So that's the windows, all these different windows that are open. Now I'm going to stop the screen share and just go back to this, and you can see the ease, but more the flexibility of the software that I'm using. Makes you look good. You set it up right, it makes you look good. And even setting it up is easy. But when you open it for the first time, you see all these windows and you go, what the? And I'm going to be doing in future weeks, I'm going to be doing some in-depth on what the scenes will do and what the overlays do and all these different kinds of things, and how you can create it to be uh, just the way you want it. And I'm going to show you as easily as possible how it's done, because it's easier than you think. It really is. Just in case you are completely unaware, that didn't show up. That was fun. Let's do it this way. There we go. So I had a button didn't work. Went to something else, and also if, on the off chance, that didn't work either. Yeah, even in live, it doesn't matter. I've seen people have been doing this for years and years and years, and something always seems to go just slightly wrong when you go live, and that just keeps it real, and that's okay. But the bottom line for this is, even though there's a ton of windows and it may seem like a lot, it's easy. It's just easy that way. Now, when you look in the comments below, and I'll put these in the comments if you're on Facebook, but if you're in YouTube, it should already be there down below in the description. There's a link where you can try Ecamm software free. Okay, they have a free version, they have a paid version. Obviously, the paid version, you get a lot more perks, but you can try it out yourself free. Get used to it. Free. I love free. I do. I really do. Uh, I kind of like paid, but yeah, free is really good. It's a great way to start. And that's all we're going to do for this week. I want you guys to have an absolutely fantastic week. Remember, it's easier than you think to create programs that look sharp, to go online, to have an online impact that you can do and not be intimidated, because it's easy. It's easier than you think. Have a great week.